Hey everyone, Anina back for Vivid Earth. How are you guys doing? It's been an eventful week. It's been an eventful month. It's been an eventful year thus far. Um, my gosh, we're only like not even 10 days into the new year, and things are happening. So many things are happening every day. It is mind-boggling. I just wanted to quickly weigh in on the California fires, and that's a hot topic right now. Everyone's talking about it. Of course, last time I checked, it was over 200 acres burnt in California, specifically around the LA and Pacific Palisades area, Hollywood Hills. It's probably more by now. I haven't followed the story that closely. I just saw clips of it. I did also see sightings of what looked like direct energy weapons coming from the sky, not directly down, quite low down actually. So I think we all know this was not an accidental fire. There's so many components to it, but I see a lot of people on the Truther channels going on about this is, got Lahaina vibes written all over it. And I don't think it has that at all. You see, I think as difficult as it is to believe, this was orchestrated by the White Hats. Because how do you actually unearth and bring to light everything that's been going on underground, above the ground, and under the ground in those areas? They are literal cesspools. They are literal cesspools underground. And how do you actually clean that out? That's going to be a difficult task, So I think in this case, just to be sensitive to the people that have lost homes. I haven't heard of any people have lost lives or pets or whatever, perhaps injury. And we have compassion with those people. But we must also remember everything has been contracted. Everything has been mapped out. Actually, this has been planned for many, many centuries and perhaps, some time travel involved as well. But suffice to say that whatever soul suffered during this process has contracted to do so. Nothing happens to us by accident. Everything is mapped out and planned according to our life contract, our karma, what we set up for ourselves, the tests and tribulations, the lessons we wanted to learn in this lifetime. So let me just start with that. So I don't sound insensitive if there are people that truly, innocent people that truly suffered. But I think it's pretty clear. You saw the fire spreading in strange places, not like a continuous fire. And then two fires started at the same time in completely different places with a lot of mileage in between them that is kind of making it clear that it's no accident. It's no bushfire that just suddenly, got out of control. But there's a few things to consider. I think, first of all, it shows the vulnerabilities of California and how they've been mismanaged, that state. Gavin Newsom has driven that poor state into the ground. I visited LA and, Beverly Hills and, Hollywood and the whole thing. Probably about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more. I don't remember exactly when I was there. I enjoyed it. That stage, I was just loving my life and pursuing success and traveled the world and just be part of the jet set. That was my life back then. Although I had this double life, I had this other life that was extremely interested in spirituality and metaphysics and all of the unseen. But let me not get distracted. So I did visit, and I have fond memories of my visit. And actually, interestingly, my brother and his family from Australia was there. They literally left the day before the fire started, like literally one day before the fire started. They were in Santa Monica, they were in LA, they were just, having a ball, and they were visiting family over there. My sister-in-law's brother is married to an American. Anyway, long story short, that was fortuitous timing, I guess. But so I've got my incense again going crazy. This is really new incense that is very potent. Anyway, if you look at the areas that are burning, Hollywood Hills, I mean, ooh, you know, we feel so sorry for those guys, right? Not to be insensitive, but if you look at who owns homes there, like, hello, as it is standing now, Hollywood is pretty much dead. I've been saying this for months. People think, oh, well, this chick doesn't know what she's talking about. Well, I actually do. Not that I have to, I have no intention of blowing my own horn, but I think all of you have also known that something is coming for Hollywood. By the way, the Hollywood sign is apparently at risk now as well. That thing has to burn. The whole of Hollywood has to burn down. This is a cleansing. This is a massive sage cleansing of that area. That's my belief, because when people discover what's been going on underground, how is anyone going to buy those properties again? We know a lot of them are on auction anyway, because a lot of the celebrities, you know, we're talking about Executive Order 13818, which is the repossession of all property of persons prosecuted or found guilty of crimes against humanity. And that pretty much covers like 70% of Hollywood. And I'm being kind here. I know that there are people that are not swept into and that have not signed the contract, but I'd say 70% of Hollywood, everyone who makes it to the top, have signed that contract. There's no other way. There is literally no other way you can get to the top, because they will block you. You will either sign the contract or your career will be over. That's how Hollywood works, okay? And it is to protect themselves. There's, you know, blackmailing is huge in Hollywood, and that keeps these celebrities in check. You know, that's how they get them to stay in line, deliver their mandate, do their rituals on stage or in the films, and carry out all these dark deeds for them. You know, all of these elites sitting behind the scenes, hiding away from the public eye. They have all these puppets, celebrities on the stage, delivering their satanic agenda for them, and making lots of money in the process, and to mind control and all of these things. I mean, I'm not going to dive too deep into that. I think you guys get the picture. But these fires had to happen. Let's just talk about the Getty Museum. You know, if you've been in this movement for a couple of years, or perhaps a couple of months, but I'd say if you have been in a couple of years, we went down that rabbit hole probably a few years ago, and found out what's really going on in the Getty Museum and underground, specifically underground, and the tunnels and what it connects to and which mansions it connects to. It's evil personified. People will not be able to sleep when they really find out the truth, and they need to. You know, there's no bypassing the darkness that's been going on this planet. Everyone has to face the fact that this has been going on for the longest time. We cannot sweep it under the carpet any longer. Unfortunately, it's got to come up. All the dirt has got to come up and cleared and cleansed away before we can walk into a new earth that we co-create, an abundant new earth with peace and harmony and love all around. Anyway, so the Getty Museum had massive tunnels underneath. And a lot of people know about this. You know, you can look at the hashtag Occupy the Getty. Probably better to look on Telegram. That's where you get more truthful information. We know who Google is owned by. It's one and the same. It's all part of the same party. All these guys, you know, whether it's Hollywood or business, they're all government. They all work pretty much together, and they're all part of the same club. So the Getty Museum is on fire. I've also heard that Paris Hilton's home has been burned to the ground. If you've done your research, you will know the Hilton Group, what's been going on with the Hilton Group, hotel group, with all their sort of trapdoors and secret tunnels, entering and exiting from certain rooms and suites. It makes trafficking of little ones very easy because nobody gets to see them. They can be provided and taken away through the tunnel system under these hotels and into the rooms seamlessly without alerting anyone of any wrongdoing. And this is why the hotels have been a famous place for these actions, because it's all about, firstly, it's a massive business, billion-dollar business globally, have been for a very long time. And it's also part of their blackmail scheme. So um, they will tell these people, whether it's politicians or people in power, that we can supply this or that and the other. I'm not going to go into detail. I'm still here on YouTube. And then they've got their secret cameras recording. And that's what the whole Epstein Island thing is about, the whole Diddy scandal. It's all coming together now. This year, what's been happening to the little ones will be disclosed on a massive scale. There's no more hiding the truth. So disclosure is going to come in quick and hard this year, and it's going to be ongoing. Like it's going to just keep going. So you're seeing a lot of the narrative being seeded now. In my opinion, this is also part of the narrative seeding, because now you're going to see a lot of these buildings and houses burned to the ground, and then it's going to, in a way, it's like Lahaina, where people can't return because, the area has been decimated. And then they're going to start looking into it. And lo and behold, they're going to discover some trapdoors that lead to tunnels underground. And what is in these tunnels? And that is a wonderful window of opportunity for the white hats to reveal what's been going on for centuries that may have been very hard to reveal otherwise. So this seems like a very good, feasible plan to lead to the disclosure that's going to follow. And really, when all of that stuff is revealed, this is going to lead to this is really going to unite humanity together, because I think we can all unite around the children, right? And, a lot of people did not want to hear this when we were telling them years ago that this stuff was going on. They were telling us we're crazy, can't be happening, or we must just please change the subject or not be so negative. And, we were disinvited from parties and gatherings because of this, because we felt we had to speak the truth. How can you not? How can you not? That is my question. When you find out the truth, how can you not speak up? I am one of the ones that have risked my whole life. I risked my business. I risked business partnerships. I missed, I risked my entire career, my reputation, relationships, family, relationships with family, friends, partners, and you can imagine my network was extensive. I had a black book that will, shock you. Like the people I knew from, whether it was top people in business, celebrities, government officials, royalty. These were the people I used to hang with, but I was never part of that scene. I would have them at events, or I'd have business meetings, and then I would go my separate way. You could say I was naive because I didn't know about all this evil that was happening behind the scenes. I recall once I had a real estate client at that time. We were doing a marketing retainer program for them to market the business and their properties. And at the time, they were trying to market, which was at that time, which was about maybe 12 years ago, I can't remember, the most expensive property in Cape Town. So what we did is we hosted a party at the house. We invited all of the who's who from Cape Town and everywhere else. And there were some international guests and African guests, and everyone of note were invited to this party, because that was a great opportunity to showcase the villa. It was the most expensive house in Cape Town at the time. It was in Nettleton Road in Clifton, which is the most expensive street in, I'd say, Africa. I was just hosting this party and, mingling with people, but I was always the one, I would never really get involved. I would just, have shallow conversations, smile and wave, build my network, but then I'd leave straight after that. I never stayed. And at some point I was like, why is everyone gathering by the bathroom? Is there a problem? Like everyone's queuing at the bathroom. And poor little naive me, I was protected from all these things, because never in my life would I even touch drugs. I don't know why, but it was just not something that I would go near. I wasn't afraid of it or anything. It was just like my higher self just, it was a hard no. No, we're not going there. Sorry. And I never touched the stuff. But so they told me, no, they're all lining up for coke in the toilet. I was like, what? So, it was kind of a little window for me to what's really going on. And then I heard not too long after a lady that I really liked. She's beautiful. She's got a family and very successful business and travels the world and, seems like a lovely gal. And then somebody told me, but are you friends with her? Because they have all these parties at their house, and it's those kind of parties, like swapping partners, etc. And I was like, what? Well, I never became friends with her, but I was friendly with her. So there was like a naivete, I guess, about what was really going on in that world. And little did I know what I know today. That, it's just, perhaps it wasn't on the level of evil that we see in Hollywood in certain, very high up circles, but it was kind of a diluted version of that. And if those people made it to the top, they would have signed the contracts as well, So it made me realize how close I came to all of that and not even seeing what's going on behind the veil. So it gives me a unique insight and perspective today when I look back at that. And, I had a major awakening in 2020. Like I said, I was already very interested in metaphysical, spiritual health and wellness. I loved astrology. I loved, these kinds of conversations. That's my Aquarius rising. But it was always in the back burner. I never discussed it with people, my friends. It was kind of my secret hobby, if you will. It wasn't kind of cool to discuss that with, living this life of an entrepreneur, globe trotting and being involved in these very high end campaigns and events. So it wasn't part of, it wasn't fit, didn't fit in with that life. So I just kept it kind of secret. And then in 2020, I had a major awakening, and it started with the illness. I realized something was very, very off. I became obsessed with finding out the truth. I did hours and hundreds of hours of research, and that led to other rabbit holes. I'd already gone down the ancient civilizations rabbit hole a year or two before. I started researching the Sumerians, the Anunnaki, and the origins of humanity, and all of these things. So I already had that interest as well. I was kind of researching it on the side. But in 2020, I literally fell into the rabbit hole with all fours, and I could not stop. I literally did thousands of hours of research, like obsessively consuming so much information about so many different topics. And, in that process, of course, was researching all the evils, what was going on in the world, and the A, that word, a dream, and then it ends with like chrome, that one. Dove down that rabbit hole, was so shocked, and I think many of us had that experience where for weeks we couldn't sleep after we found out what was really going on. Watching some of those documentaries, those secret recordings, information that was shared, and I was like, my God, what is going on with this world? I cannot believe what I'm discovering, and I just wanted to tell everyone, and nobody was interested. It's like, Anina, please stop. Can we not talk about those things? And I don't really believe it's like, as rampant as you say it is. But it was, and nobody wanted to listen. And soon they're going to find out that I wasn't lying. I wasn't being negative. I was crying out for help so that others can join in bringing this to the public's attention and stopping these atrocities, these millions of children that were going missing every single year, like literally millions of children. We lost billions of children over the last few decades and perhaps centuries. It's, you go back to the whole tale of Dracula and that. I mean, they were the same. It was just put in a fantasy form that he was this creature, but he was just a chrome, I'm going to just shorten to that, consumer. and he became addicted. And what about that Countess Elizabeth? I forgot her surname. It was living in Venice, and she was also living in, well, in other parts of the world, maybe not. But that she was apparently over 600 years consumed the blood of young women, like hundreds and thousands of them. And that was supposedly a true story as well. And she lived for many, many hundreds of years because she never aged. She was literally addicted to the stuff. And now you can see the correlation to it all. Now they had these incredible parties in Venice. We were all wearing masks. So Eyes Wide Shut comes to mind. If you've ever watched that film, that's actually reality in essence. And this stuff has been going on under our noses for the longest time. I'd say the ones that made it rampant and spread throughout the world probably is the Khazarian mafia, because they've been around for a very long time and is said to be the bloodline of Cain. And they are just vengeful, bloodthirsty people, really. So for them, it was like second nature. They were Satanists, essentially, and they still are, and they're still around. They just hide behind different religions. They hide behind political positions, but they are still around us. So anyway, this is the very deep rabbit hole that you would have to go into, looking at the California fires. And I suspect this thing is not, by the time this is all over, there's going to be so much information that comes out about so many different celebrity homes and buildings having burned down. And I bet you we would have heard of all of those in our research over the last couple of years, and it would connect all of the dots. So in my mind, this is an only sort of easy and legitimate way that the white hats can uncover all of these tunnels and then show it to the people. They're going to have to show it to the people. And then, of course, they took the opportunity to also, in the same process, like two flies in one go, expose the gross mismanagement that is happening in California as well, managed by Gavin Newsom. I mean, that is like woke central these days. I'm glad I didn't have to visit, LA and California recently. Well, I mean, the greater California, I'm sure there's some beautiful stuff, but in LA, it's pretty grimy. And I believe the energy is extremely heavy. Like in LA, it's like thick. It's like walking through mud. And I'm not surprised. So this is the big reveal. It is a necessary cleansing. And at the same time, you're going to be revealing certain politicians that have skimmed millions from the state in the process. The fire hydrants were empty. There was no water because they were mismanaging the water supply in the state. And the process pumped billions of kiloliters of water into the ocean. The wealthy, the elite, who had their own water supply, had so much. They literally pumped it into the ocean, billions of kiloliters, while all the fire hydrants were dry, while there was a water shortage in California, while it's been so dry. So it's just exposing all the shenanigans in the process as well, which is, a wonderful way of looking at it. So who's to know what's coming in the next 10 days? But I've got a feeling it's just going to get more dramatic as the days go by. So I've said this before. Sorry. Buckle up. This is going to be a month like no other. It's going to be the first quarter of 2025 is going to be like no other, and 2025 as a whole. I literally think it's now catch-up time. We've got to get this done. 2025 is the year. It cannot go further than 2025. Stuff has to be sorted out ASAP now. People are tired. People are exhausted. People are down and out in many areas because of the inflation and the economic mismanagement. So they need to get this job done now. And I think it's time. It's go time. And we're just going to see everything multiplying in the coming weeks. And the whole thing that's happening in Canada, Mr. T wanting to bring Canada, Greenland, and, under the banner of the USA, and also the Gulf of Mexico, wants to rename that Gulf of America, and also the Panama Canal, bring that into back into the US as well, because those were all part of the US. Not too long ago, I'd say about maybe 75 years ago, they were all under the US territory, the American territory. So, you know, what happened is also the Crown owns some of these lands, specifically Canada, which is, we know is pretty much owned by the Crown. So how do you get rid of that? How do you get rid of the Crown? How do you set Canada free? You set Canada free by forcing the government to collapse, by bankrupting the Crown Corporation, masquerading as the Canadian government. And well, they have another corporation that is under the Crown Corporation, but that corporation, whether it's called Canada Incorporated, I'm not sure, and research that. But I don't need to research it because I know what's going on. So whether it is, so what a great opportunity to bankrupt the Corporation of Canada and then say, well, it used to be part of the US, so we'll bring it back in. And it's not about taking ownership of the country, because that's not the strategy of Mr. T. That is just the process of freeing Canada. Once it's freed, it's going to be given its own mandate to run its own affairs. And that is where the world is heading. We're not going to continue with these governmental structures, these country structures that we have now with the strict borders. There's going to be a lot more freedom. There's going to be a lot more autonomy, even not different countries, but even different states taking autonomy of their own management. So, you know, Age of Aquarius is all about community and managing things on the community level. So people are taking back their power. They're going to be managing their own communities in a way that makes sense for that community, not to rape and pillage that community by and laundering money into the state system. So all of those channels, all those federal channels that they've been using to siphon money from the people are going to disappear, because the state, the government will not have that much control in the future. Now, it might take a little bit of time for this all to roll out, or it might be quick. We don't know. But we do know change is coming. There's no buts about it. And, Greenland also, having been under, the rule of Denmark, now there's a lot of satanic royals and strongholds in that whole Scandinavian triangle. Sweden, Denmark, Norway. It's satanic central there. So it's also about releasing not only Greenland from that control, but also what's happening in Greenland and what is hidden there under the ice. We're talking about weather manipulation tools. We're talking about secret bases. We're talking about portals. We're talking about a lot of things. And so that land has to be secured ASAP. And so that's why they're going the route of letting Trump kind of pursue Greenland in that way, where a lot of people say he's just greedy, he wants to own everything, and he's got this big ego, and Elon Musk doesn't know what he's doing, and they're taking over the world and turning it into a technocratic control system. It's like, maybe do a little bit more research, because you've kind of pierced the surface, but you haven't gone deeper. And that is, of course, the narrative that a lot of people in the truth and community also spew. And they want you to believe that it's all doom and gloom, that there's no hope, and that the white hats and Q and the whole movement is just a pipe dream, and it's just another psyop to control us. Well, it seems like an awfully elaborate plan. I think there would have been easier ways for them to do it than doing it like that. Anyway, this is all destined to be, guys. There's just no other way. It's like you come from the future and you see, okay, well, I know what's happening next. It's like almost some of us just know what's happening next. Can't explain it, whether it's intuition, whether it's really time travel, whether it's reincarnating here and getting memories back from previous lifetimes, maybe all of it. But life is going to get interesting this year and from this year onwards. Everything as we know it is going to change. The age of Aquarius is all about a totally new era, very futuristic. There's obviously a negative aspect of the age of Aquarius and there's a positive one. We are going for the positive one. We are going for the highest timeline. The highest timeline has already been secured. So keep visualizing this bright new future. Don't allow anyone to use fear-mongering or any attempts to pull you into negative timelines and to use you to manifest that timeline, because really it's been proven that it only takes 17 seconds for you to have a certain thought, if that is a negative thought, before that starts manifesting. So yeah, and that is scientists that have discovered that. It's not like the woo-woo crowd. If perhaps you don't believe in that kind of unseen world, this has been scientifically proven. There's actually a video that I shared on the Telegram channel. By the way, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're on there, because there's a lot of juicy stuff that we sharing there like all day long. So that's where all the action is at. If you want to do some deep dives, you want to do some research, we share so many incredible posts, incredible research, incredible digital soldiers that uncover all of these rabbit holes and theories and connecting the dots on so many different topics, from intel, ancient civilizations, up into like 5D awakening stuff, ascension topics. So it's all there. I like to combine it all because it is all one. This is what we're going through, and we're heading for ascension. That's a fact. So you can't ignore that fact. You got to look at it as a multi-dimensional experience. You are a multi-dimensional being. So ignoring certain aspects of that awakening process is just doing yourself a disservice and hampering your own growth, your own awakening, because awakening is a dynamic thing. It never really stops. It keeps on going. It's like the petals of a flower. It just keeps unfolding one by one by one. So yeah, I just wanted to hop on here to kind of just weigh in on those topics. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know where you are from. Make sure you are subscribed if you like this content, and please share and like and comment so we can get this content out, because this is my third channel, and it's it's always tough to rebuild old audiences. They sometimes never find you again. And so, I've lost 2 channels on YouTube, collectively, I think 10,000 plus followers. And that's also subscribers, also cumulative subscribers, because now when suddenly you disappear and you've had great traction on your channel, reaching more people, that traction and that momentum disappears as well. So you have to literally start from scratch. And some people don't even know where you went or what happened or where you are or that you have a new channel. So it's pretty tough, in this information war. We're just trying to reach more people. So please, make sure you're subscribed, like, share, and remember, Rumble is our backup channel. So make sure you are subscribed there as well, in case we do disappear again, which I hope not, because it looks like censorship is pretty much a thing of the past. Very soon. Meta, you've seen the announcement by Zuckerberg that they're going to be firing all the fact checkers, all the woke fact checkers have done their channel a disservice. They knew what they were doing, okay? They were given a golden handshake because of the reach of their platforms and the function of their platforms in society. So they have to either toe the line and come into line with where the new world is going, or it gets shut down. And perhaps that's also a clone of Zuck 2.0, which I think is very likely. So, so soon, I don't know how soon, but soon censorship will disappear on that on those platforms. Not in the EU so much because of all their censorship laws, but this is all just part of the movie as well. That's also going to go away soon. Then hopefully I won't be shadow banned anymore because, you know, I just, my entire channel is now just being used for waking up others. And I've had so many warnings and posts taken down, and even recently. And it was funny because some of it was old posts. It was like a couple of months old, and suddenly I get this fact check on an old, not even a post, a story that hasn't been available for months. And suddenly they fact checked it. Maybe they were maybe they had a target to reach. That's very likely. The FBI or the three-letter agencies probably gave those fact-checking companies a target. You better fact-check all of these. It's like grasping at straws at the bottom of the barrel. What can we do? Let's go back months and months and look at old stories and see which ones we can fact-check. Guys, there's going to be so much to uncover there. It's like a whole cesspool. It's going to be so fascinating once we do that. And then, of course, you know, iPhone, I saw a video and I shared on the Telegram channel that the latest software, ISO 18.1 or whatever it is apparently got improved spyware. So it actually spies on you wherever you go. It uses your camera, your location, and it uses Siri as well to follow you around. It reads your eye, you know, the activity of your eyes to see how you react and respond to certain pictures. So it basically reads your mind, and it pierces your brain, so to speak. So I knew there was a reason why I didn't want to download the new software. Well, I've been having storage issues, so I didn't actually have enough space for the new software. I was like, why do I have to download the new software? I don't want to. And I don't like Siri. Leave me alone. Like, I don't need your assistance. I can do things myself. So I knew there was a reason why I didn't use these things. And there's a lot of functionalities that I don't use on the iPhone, a lot of things that I shut off. So you've got to check your settings, okay, if you don't want to be monitored and spied on. And hopefully we'll get these Q phones very soon. Like, that would just be incredible. Or some people call it the Pi phone. Some people call it, it's going to be the Tesla phone. Please, can we have this already? It's not just all of these evil spyware on the phones. It's also things like blue light. That is just so bad for you. Dr. Jack Cruz did this massive interview, like 2.5 hours. In fact, there was one that was 4.5 hours. I listened to the whole thing. He is absolutely phenomenal. He's a brain surgeon, but he's next level and a rebel with a cause. So he doesn't toe the line, and he went against all his colleagues and you know, alma maters, all the universities, and he got banned and, you know, sidelined, and he left the country. But the information that he brings is phenomenal, still absolutely phenomenal. And he did a whole study on blue light. And of course, our world is flooded with blue light. All of the new LED lighting that we have in our homes, that's on the highways, that the cars are using, everywhere is LED. And the globes are becoming more and more blue, so more and more blue light, which disrupts your entire endocrine system. It basically ages you, it makes you fat, and it kills you slowly. Basically, it's terrible for the cells. It disrupts your entire endocrine system, your circadian rhythm. You can't sleep, you're anxious, blah blah blah. And we flood it with blue light every day. So be mindful of that, you know, if you haven't already. My glasses, I don't actually need to do recordings with glasses because they're mainly for reading close by, but they've got blue light filters on them. And that's one of the biggest reasons I wear them, because I can't be sitting here all day being exposed to blue light. And I remember last year I was traveling, you know, Thailand and Vietnam. Fond memories. Traveled Southeast Asia for 3.5 months. And we arrived in this beautiful coastal city in Vietnam called Nha Trang. And I've never seen so many lights in one city. Now, I know I've been to Bangkok and Hong Kong and, all the New York and London and all these places, but not for actually for a few years, because I kind of stayed away during COVID. I just visited Mauritius. I didn't visit any other international location during that time. And then suddenly I arrived in the city and was like, what is going on? There's just lights everywhere. And my nervous system got so overwhelmed that I couldn't take it anymore, to the point where I didn't want to go out at night. And so the more you start looking after yourself, the more sensitive you become to these things. I'm very sensitive to EMF, the phone EMF, and I can feel it crawling into my body when it gets a bit much, and then I have to switch everything off and take a break. That's why many times I'm not available online, because my phone is in airplane mode. I'm not online. I will download videos and I'll listen to them offline on YouTube. That's where I learn and study on various different topics. But I minimize my online time. Things like Wi-Fi, it's so disrupting. So these new phones that are coming, Tesla, the Pi, the Q, whatever it's going to be called, hopefully they will not be using the blue light, because that is a choice. They did not need to use so much blue light. They had a choice. They had the whole light spectrum to choose from. And in our daily lives, naturally, when you're outside in the sun, there isn't ever that much blue light in the natural light we're surrounded by. But they engineered this specifically to damage ourselves, to, kill us slowly. And so this can be changed with new technology. They don't have to keep using the toxic, harmful technology. Even the EMF frequency, the frequency that phones use, and 5G, I mean, that's another topic, Wi-Fi and all of the cell communication, they don't have to use that low frequency. They specifically designed it to use that low frequency to make you ill, to dumb you down, to make you addicted, to kill you slowly, because such a population is much easier to control. So, yeah, I'm not even going to talk about 5G. 5G has never been about better communication, faster connection. Never. There isn't even a 5G receiver in your phone. I watched a video by a technical guy that works with phones every single day. There's literally no receiver of 5G. So these 5G towers are not used for communication. They're used for direct, it's basically like a direct weapon. They can put any frequencies through it. They can target specific phones, or they can blanket a whole town. Think 2020. They can do that so easily. And it's so toxic and harmful to live in these environments. If you live anywhere within half a kilometer from a 5G tower, which I bet you do, because they don't extend very far. So normally there's a lot of towers in just about every city in town. It's harmful. It creates a frequency bubble around you that's harmful for your body. And that's why I have a lot of orgonite on the property. If you don't know about orgonite, go and check it out. You can check it out on my shop, VIVIDEARTH, one word, .shop. VIVIDEARTH.shop. VIVIDEARTH.shop. We sell the most phenomenal orgonite on the shop, made by a German guy in South Africa, and he ships to Europe and the US and everywhere around the world. So you can actually, I think there might not be international courier yet to my site, but you can always send me an email, live@vividearth.org, if you're interested, because I have several tower busters on my property. I think there's at least 10 on my property, one on each corner of the entire property, then one on each corner of the house, and then one next to anything like a fridge or a smart meter or a Wi-Fi. What do you call those things? Anyway, you know what I mean. and that just mitigates the frequency. I even have one in my vegetable garden that makes the vegetables grow. They love the beautiful harmonious frequency equalizer that's emitted by these organites. And so they just harmonize the frequency. And you can't have too many in your home. I heard some people say, "Oh, you can't have it next to your bed because you'll have too much energy. You won't be able to sleep." The only reason you might not be able to sleep is maybe if you have some entity attachments or some dark energy, because dark energy don't do well with this harmonious frequency. So it will have you anxious. It will have you restless. Then you know, oops, I need to do a cleansing, a clearing of my energy field. That's how you know. So anyway, I'm going to maybe talk about a lot of these incredible products that can help you. And I am so passionate about it. It's one of my big loves, natural wellness and natural healing technologies. And hopefully I'll talk a bit more about that soon if I have time. But yeah, I'm getting distracted now and I'm getting off the topics. So I think I'm going to wrap this up and just wanted to really weigh in on those topics. So let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, share, all the links on the description below. Let me know where you guys are from. I love different cultures. Thanks so much, guys. I'm sending you much love and I'll see you soon.